This week on the podcast, it's about the ultimate choice. If we could only have one game on each console, what would it be? We also share our verdict on Doom the Dark Ages, and Scott finds faith in humanity thanks to GTA Online. And on this week's Pixel Picks Showdown, shocks are everything as we named the best story twist game. All this and more on this week's Pixel Parents podcast. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Parents podcast, the show that discusses all things gaming from the perspective of parents. I am your host, Liam Kelvin, and today I'm of course joined by the bearded one, Scott, the Tastemaker Curry. How are we, Scott?
I'm very well. I've come prepared this week, now that I know that you're going to ask me how I'm doing. I'm actually very well. I'm not appreciating the incredulousness of the opening there, where I find faith in humanity and GTA Online. Unbelievable. The shock of the season.
It's a shock of the year.
It truthfully is, yeah, to be honest with you. But we're here for it. But I'm all right, appreciating the nice weather. I've not got to that point yet where I want it to fuck off, so it can stick around. There's my daughter's school trip coming up in a few weeks, so no doubt it'll be sunny up until then, and then it'll pish everywhere on the day, which is always good. But just been plugging away at work, melting every single day, and continuing to try and get 10,000 steps in a day, which is a bit of a pain in the arse when I can't be bothered doing it. But that's what the NHS tells you to do, and you need to do it, don't you? So I need to do something.
Just get more in than what you usually do, and you'll be fine. You'll see the progress.
It's been ridiculous the last few weeks. I took my dog on a 12-kilometre walk, which is fine because I've got a golden retriever who can walk that far. But I also took my mother-in-law's dog, who is a dachshund, and watching him try to walk that far was a sight to behold. There was points during it I felt so bad for him that I actually carried him for like 2 miles just to make sure he was okay. But then he was fine and it was all good. So then we got ice cream on the way home, which was lovely. But that's a story for another year. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. Like you said, sun's out. I'm at the same point as you, but you can enjoy it now. But it's starting to get to that point where it's getting too warm inside, and I'm on Curry's looking at air conditioning units and stuff. Like, this is the year I'm going to do it. I won't, but I've not reached that point yet. But it's tempting. And yeah, King of the Hill reboot's coming back. Life is good. I can't be any more happy, to be honest. I'm absolutely buzzing for it. When they announced it this week, I was like, first thing I had to do was go get my wife because she's a big fan of it as well, and it's just like, it's back, it's coming back. And I feel like I might not be joined by many people in that one, but yeah, so excited. And yeah, a lot of games played this week. Obviously we got hands on with Doom the Dark Ages, which was great fun, and yeah, it's just been pretty good. I'm pretty chill, Scott. I think I'm in a very rare period of kind of recuperation before I start the new job and the start of June. So yeah, I'm just enjoying it. And like you, looking forward to my son's school visits. I think this is next week. But it's all lined up nicely. And you're absolutely spot on. It will start pouring down from the heavens as that starts. But I'm going to be a mess. I'm going to be a total mess because it's the finality of it, because it's him leaving nursery. And obviously, it feels like we've known that nursery for ages because my daughter went there as well. And it's very much closing that chapter. And then starting a new one at school. And I don't think he's prepared for the joys of wearing a uniform every single day. So
we're lucky that our wee one, she's quite excited about the prospect of the outfits. Yeah. And she seems to be quite excited about doing work now. She came to me the other day and she's like, all we do in nursery is play. I was like, well, enjoy it while you fucking can, because as you get older, you just get bent over backwards on everything and punched to death on a daily basis. So, I mean, it's kind of like playing Doom the Dark Ages, to be honest with you. You're just one of the monsters, and life is the Doomslayer ripping your fucking heart out every day. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what it is. But Aye, we were the same. Next few weeks, she'll do her school visits, get a couple of days in there. She's going for lunch in the school as well that I'm going to.
Yeah.
So, I love these things because my wife's a teacher, so she knows all these things inside out. When I show up to these kind of things, I'm just like pure idiot at the door. Like, right, what do I do here? Like, I never exactly know what I'm meant to do or where I'm meant to be. So it'll be fun. It'll just be nice to see it all and how it all kind of pans out. And aye, they're getting older. They didn't get any younger.
No, they don't. And the funny thing is, you're going to be sitting in that lunch hall realising how small those chairs really are.
Oh my god, yeah. I remember when I was doing the teacher training stuff, and I had to go into one of the toilets, and it's ridiculous, man. Like one cheek full. You know what I mean? Like having to balance just to get the anus over the toilet.
Well,
not a good sign.
Well, on that lovely picture, I think we should get some housekeeping out the road and start talking about some video games before we go any further. So, of course, for those listening, this is the Pixel Parents Podcast, the weekly podcast by parents who game. For those who do the same, where each week we discuss all things gaming while raising our little ones. If you want to be part of the podcast, come say hello and share your thoughts with us at pixelparents.bsky.social on Blue Sky, or write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. And if you like what you hear and you want to support the show, you can leave a 5-star review and share this podcast online with your friends. It really helps us out. And of course, thank you to everyone that joins us each and every week. So with that out of the way, Scott, what have you been playing this week, good sir?
It's been quite a busy week. I was in the last few days, and not even a busy week, just a busy, Monday, Tuesday, to be honest with you. Because after we recorded last week, I was like, what am I going to play now? I finished Expedition 33 and we had that conversation about what comes next. And you obviously recommended, Ghost of Tsushima doing the Iki Island expansion. And I went on to it. I done the intro. I got to the island and I was like, I have fucking no clue how to play this game anymore. Like, genuinely no idea. And I wrote about it on Blue Sky. I'm advocating for a 5-minute tutorial session with every single time you come back and replay a game. It's kind of like what, Hideo Kojima came out today and he said he wanted to make a game that you forget all your powers if you leave it for too long. So like you forget everything, and that's exactly what this fucking done to me.
That's such a cool concept.
It's a fucking total Kojima thought in it. Like you get all these powers, and then because you've not played it for 2 weeks, you forget them. You'd be raging though. But that's exactly what it was for me. So I was like that. Like I want to play this, but I also just can't be arsed.
Yeah.
So I didn't. I turned it off. Which kind of fell in nicely because we got given a code for a Wii game that's coming out on Switch, PS4, and PS5.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot, for the life of me, say the name of it. It's Mostro Copy or something like that. Mostro Copy, something. The Steam description calls it a fighting game that takes up the aesthetics of the horror and luchador films of Mexican cinema from the 1950s. With an eclectic roster of monsters and masked luchadors and a simple gameplay style with a retro presentation. I saw it and I thought, you know what, I'm going to chance this because I was feeling the urge for a fighting game.
Yeah.
Didn't know it was already actually available on Steam and Xbox. So the game now is going to be out by the time this episode comes out. It'll be out on the 16th, and it's class. Like I've actually really enjoyed playing it. To be honest with you, it was a nice wee palate cleanser from the RPG-ness of life at the moment. It's a fighting game that if I'm going to sell it to you, Liam, it's a fighting game that you can play. It's 3 buttons. It's got a light attack, heavy attack, and a special attack, and that's you. So it's kind of like Smash Brothers in that way, where you can mash and you get stuff out. And I tell you something, when you do mash, beautiful things happen. I spent a lot of my time playing as luchadors in it. There's different characters, so it has like this horror kind of film grain effect when you play through it. And soundtrack kind of matches it as well. And it's really cool. Like as I say, it's really easy to pick up, which makes it really accessible. Like that's the big thing about fighting games at the moment, is about all this accessibility. The character designs and stuff as well. Like they're all really, really well thought out. And I'm pretty sure, kind of looking at some of the Steam reviews for it and people kind of talking about it, it's things from Mexican folklore from like the 1950s.
Yeah.
which is really, really cool. Like I think it's really fascinating, kind of delving into that pocket. Like werewolves, vampires, ghosts, robots, and stuff as well. Like it's so weird. But the thing that I think actually does really well, because it's got like unique story modes for every character. So like I went into the game to begin with. I can't even remember her name. It was what was her name again? It was a luchador, a female luchador, something V. I can't remember her name. I'll try and get it for you whilst I'm actually sitting here, because I've written it down somewhere.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
looking at some of the video footage of it just now, and it does look really cool. Like,
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think it was Faust V or something like that. I think her name was. But basically, she's like this luchador, and she's got this family tie to this monster or something like that, and it just plays out as you'd expect from a normal arcade game mode. But it's just so cool. Like it's a Mexican. It's obviously a Mexican developer, Oribeware Games, based in Hidalgo, Mexico. And all things considered, I think it's not. I mean, if you come into this game, if you're interested in it, it's worth it. It's worth a go. To be honest with you, as I said, on Switch and on PlayStation and PS4, PS5 on the 16th of May. It's not going to be the next fighting game at Evo. Like it's not going to be that game, and I don't think it's trying to be that game. But I think if you are looking for, a fun fighting game that maybe you play for a few hours, you have a really cool time with it, just, fanny about with the buttons and stuff like that. Even if it was on like a PlayStation Plus or a Game Pass or something down the line, there's definitely, worth there for it. I think it's just a really cool, I think it is just a really cool concept. So I really appreciated obviously getting the wee code for it, because it was quite cool, and it was a nice wee palate cleanser for the rest of my week. But that then led me down the path of Grand Theft Auto 5, and let's just get this story out of the way. So I finished the story from Grand Theft Auto 5 a few weeks ago, and the online trophies have been haunting me ever since. It has been a fucking nightmare. Hell. There's 2 trophies: Enjoy Your Stay and Numero Uno. Enjoy Your Stay, you have to do everything. No, not everything, but you have to do certain things like play an arm wrestling match, do a rally race, win a tennis match, blah, blah, blah. Numero Uno is you have to basically win a dozen different things. So like tennis, darts, golf, rally races, GTA races, air races, you name it, is everything you need to do. And I've been going through the list of things that I've done. So the Rockstar Social Club has a really cool medal system where it tells you what you've done and what you haven't done. I say really cool, it's quite obtuse, but it has this system where you can check it. And the only things I hadn't done were rally races,
right,
and win a tennis match.
Right.
Now, Liam Cook-Kelvin, we played Grand Theft Auto Online many moons ago.
We did indeed.
And we definitely played tennis together.
Yeah, we did.
But you would be interested to learn that we never finished playing a tennis match.
Really?
We played a tennis match and always quit out. Every single time we played it, we quit out. Because I didn't win a tennis match for the first time until 2 days ago. Same thing with the rally races. So you've got different races. You've got standard races. You've got GTA races, which is basically Grand Theft Auto Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And then you've got rally races, which is where you have to direct someone around the track. So like if me and you were playing it, I would be driving. You would be directing me where to go and stuff as well. Right? So we have done that, but I've directed you. So I have never driven the car, you have driven the car. But for the trophy, you need both. So you need to be directed, and you also need to direct someone.
All right.
Now, this game mode isn't a 2-player situation, so I can't do it with one other person. You need 4 people to play it.
That's a nightmare.
And let me tell you, Liam, see, trying to get anyone to play it with you, it's hellish. So I sat, honestly, for 2 days straight, I just sat in lobbies just waiting for people to join. And then the minute 4 people would join, I'd hit start and run as soon as I possibly could just to get the race quickly started, right? Every single time somebody would back out and you just fuck the trophy off for yourself, which was such a pain in the arse. But then one time, what I had done is I practiced the routes, because nobody goes online and talks anymore, so there's no microphones. People aren't talking to themselves on Grand Theft Auto Online now. So what I did was I practiced the route around one track, and I managed to figure out, without knowing where the actual checkpoints were, I managed to figure out I knew where to go, so I could just do it myself. And I managed to get 4 people in, and just managed to scrape through it, and it popped. I was like, oh, crying.
Excellent.
But this still left this numero uno trophy, right? So numero uno, the only things I had left to do was to win a shooting challenge, win a tennis match, and it was something else, one other thing. And I couldn't for the love. If I had you online with me, would have done it no bother, right? But you were obviously busy doing your own thing, as we'll get to. So I turned to the internet, Liam. I turned to strangers on the internet, and there's a page called PSN Profiles that every single person who trophy hunts looks at every single day for the breakdown of different trophy systems and stuff like that to try and figure out what to do. And at the very top of that page, there's a button called Sessions. Have you ever seen this Sessions button before?
Not familiar with Sessions, no.
If you are on the internet right now, which you listening are, go and look at PSN Profiles, and at the very top, click on Sessions. And this is people who are looking for people to play games with them. There's people online looking for people to play loads of Call of Duty games, Watch Dogs, Borderlands, Grand Theft Auto. There's loads of people, and basically what they do is they all pile onto this big forum and try and get people to come and play with them. If you look on it recently, you'll see my Grand Theft Auto 5 things as well, because I was begging people to come and fucking play with me. So I'd done it one night, and that night I think something happened that I think we had the 2 dogs, and I took them out for a walk and I forgot. So when I came back, the people that I was going to do it with had done it already, and they'd got their trophies and pissed off. I was like, fuck, I fucked it. Like, I've absolutely fucked it. So then the next night I put up a message, and I'd done it again. Just said, look, if anyone's willing to just jump on with me and help me out, then that would be great. And I got a message from a guy called Well Nino, WELNINO. And I was like, who's this? From Brazil? I was like, oh, right, okay. This is a bit strange. He messaged me saying, look, he messaged me saying, I'll help you do it. I was like, right, okay, I'll help you. So I messaged him back saying, right, I'll help you do whatever you need to do as well. And God love this man. He helped me through and shepherded me through these games. We played tennis together at 1 o'clock in the morning. We done all the stuff for myself, and I got the trophies. And then I was like, I could just ditch this guy. Like, fuck it, I'll just ditch him. I've got what I need. I'll just leave him. But no, truth of my word, I've managed to shepherd him through it, and I've managed to get most of his trophies and stuff as well. But it was just like a really fascinating thing. Like, that whole Sessions community stuff, it's just like, it's something I was so unaware of. Like, I kind of thought that these people were just, you watch these videos online of people doing YouTube videos doing platinum runs as well, that they just have people online that will come, and they've got mates and stuff that will come online with them. If I knew this existed when I was playing Grand Theft Auto 4, I could have done it. I could have easily have done it. Yeah. But I'm not going to now, because fuck that. So
I'm just scrolling this thing out, and there's even the session for 50 Cent Blood on the Sand, which is incredible.
It's amazing. Like, it's just really fascinating to see the people that are on there. And there was always this, what's the word? Reluctance. Like, even when it came to actually, getting on there with someone, like, it was just a reluctance to do it, because, like, who's that fucking weirdo online? But I tell you what, it was class. Like, it was really cool, and we were just like helping each other go through it. And we managed to set bounties for each other. So we've done that trophy. We've done all the things. So the 3 things now on my list for Grand Theft Auto Online, there's two trophies left. I've got someone needs to mug me, and I need to kill them for it, which we're going to do immediately after we finish this.
Yep.
And I have to get to level 100. I'm currently level 79.
Okay.
And I'm not willing to go through all the heist stuff, because I can't be arsed. Like, you now have to buy buildings to do heists, and have to be a millionaire before you can even do it. So I've managed to find, if you're familiar with RP boosting online, there's people who create certain races and certain tracks or certain missions that you can just basically go on and run through, and it gives you 3 times the experience that you need to get it. So basically, I've just been doing this race that takes me on a loop-de-loop, a figure of 8, takes me on that. I finish that in 4 minutes, and I get 4,000 XP. I'm going to have to run this about 300 times before I get to level 100.
Yeah.
But it takes 40 seconds to do. So 300 times the 40. Can't be arsed thinking about it, but 2 hours maybe, something like that. But do you know
Couple
what?
of podcasts.
Yeah, a couple of podcasts, fart it out over a night, and then I'll have it done. So by this time next week, you'll be listening to the owner of a Grand Theft Auto 5 Platinum.
Oh, you've committed to it?
I've committed to it. No, I'll definitely do it. So then after that, I finished. So I did actually go back and finish the Iki Island Ghost of Tsushima DLC.
Nice.
And
Enjoy it.
It was good. I mean, it was good. I think I'm excited for Yoti, but I was a bit like, a bit underwhelmed by it all. Like I remember Ghost of Tsushima being this, life-changing experience when I played it for the first time, but going back to it, I was just kind of like, all right, okay. But that's not its own. That's not its fault. It's a gorgeous game. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's beautiful, and I had a really fun time with it. But it just does everything it needs to do really well, and that's fine. Like that's cool.
The thing is, right, and this might sound controversial. I'm not meaning it to be, but I mean, Ghost of Yoti wasn't like a 10, or Ghost of Tsushima, sorry, wasn't like a 10 out of 10 game.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a very solid, at best, 8, at worst 7 out of 10 game, and that's all it had to be.
Yeah.
That's all it had, because that's still great. I think over time, its reputation has probably got better over time, which is a good thing. But I remember on release, it wasn't getting, 9s and 10s. It was getting, 7s and 8s, the odd 9. But yeah, I think it was just that comparison constantly. I couldn't escape of it, of Assassin's Creed. But it's still a fantastic game, and I'm kind of with you. Like, I'm excited for Yoti, and the thing is, I won't lie, I was hovering over the collector's edition of Ghost of Yoti because I thought, right, no GTA 6. Let's put some of that folding, because probably a collector's edition will be cheaper than GTA 6. But I of course hesitated and decided not to do something stupid. I was like, is that a marker of where I am in my excitement levels? I'm not sure. It's probably going to be the closer I get. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It will be something we desperately need on the PS5 Pro for sure. But yeah, it hits the spot though.
Yeah, no, I mean it does. As I say, it does everything it does really well, and there's nothing more satisfying than seeing limbs getting guys getting dismembered and stuff like that. It's great. And I've got one last wee tidbit for you. One 30-second little bit just on top of all this, the cherry on top. So when I was in my weakest moments of not understanding what to play, because I don't think you understand, Liam, see the frustration of trying to get someone to do a rally race with me. It was ruining my life. It was honestly hurting my soul. So in that moment, I was like, I'm just going to play something else. Fuck this. Can't I be arsed playing Ghost of Tsushima? So what did I pick? What was the game that you chose for me this year? You picked 2 games for me. Cyberpunk 2077 and The Witcher 3. So I'm going to actually, after I finish Grand Theft Auto, I'm going to dive heed first into The Witcher.
Yeah, just picking all these small games and tiny games.
I promise the listeners this: I am going to get the platinum trophy on The Witcher.
Okay.
I found there's a thing online. It's like a Witcher speedrun document that basically tells you everything that you need to do step by step. So it'll be getting fucking done. Don't you worry about it.
Well, here's the thing, right? If you're going to do it, what I would really, really, insist that you do is enjoy the story at your own pace, and then do the grind after it. Instead of speed running, because it deserves to be taken in that way. I mean, it won't take you long.
I've played it all. Like I've played most of it. Like
get the DLC.
I've not even touched the DLC before, so I'll definitely do that, and I'll take my time with that. But main game will be getting fucking demolished. It's never going to have seen a demolition like this, Liam. I'm going to come in. I'm going to come into The Witcher like something. I had some
difficulty trophies that'll slow you down.
I mean, I've almost been killed by fucking drowners on deathmark difficulty. How are they so hard? Like big stupid fucking blue things. Why are they so difficult to kill?
See, when you're putting it in the harder difficulties, you really have to think like a Witcher, and you're going to have to start looking at the oils and all that, and making sure
that's what I'm excited for. That's what I'm excited about, because it's something that I've never done before. Like, I never actually had to pay attention to all this stuff. So there's a thing in my brain that's telling me that I want to do this. So I'm going to go with it and let it fucking run.
Go for it, man.
And
Go for it. I wish you the best of luck.
Speaking of running, Liam,
Mhm.
you run on ahead and tell us about your week, because you've had a fucking hell of a week.
I have indeed, yeah. You know, what we talked about last week, so I'd finished Blueprints. So I went immediately back into Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'll probably start there because it was the start of my week. I'm literally about 2 more missions away left to wrap up the story. I can't drag it out any longer. About 50 odd hours in. And that is in my sights for a platinum grind because it's tradition. I need to get the platinum in each Assassin's Creed game. And it's very doable and enjoyable, should I add. It's been nothing but a joy going amongst that world. And I'm still thinking constantly, it's like, there's going to be a day soon where Scott plays this as Yasuke and he's going to get it and he's going to love it. But yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It kind of feels like the story, though, has only, it's like it just gets good at the end. But I get a feeling they might be teeing something up for the DLC pack that they made free or something. We'll see. You know, I'll come back and report with my final score on that one, hopefully next week. But yeah, that was kind of derailed. I was just about to finish it because we got a code through for Doom the Dark Ages, provided by Bethesda. So thank you, Bethesda, for that. So it was a chance for us to play that before release. So I think at time of release of this episode that is coming out. So we've played it
15th.
Yep. So and it's on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, and PC. If you're unfamiliar with Doom, I don't know if you've been living under a rock or something, but it's kind of one of the granddaddies of gaming franchises out there. So this was one that was on my kind of ones to watch this year, and it was of course coming to Game Pass. So I played it on Xbox Series X, and I managed to batter through it this week at great pace, which I always think is a good sign, because if a game's bad, it would feel like a chore. In this case, it didn't feel like a chore at any point. And my score for Doom the Dark Ages, to kick things off, I'm going to give this an 8, which on our scale is great. It rhymes. So good it rhymes. But I think ultimately, an overview, I would say I had a brilliant time with Doom the Dark Ages. I think they changed up the formula from Eternal here, just to give you something that felt a little bit more classic and definitely a lot more weighty than before. And it's ultimately kind of delivered on this old school shooter feeling that is thrilling, and I'd say metal as all hell, which is great. That's why I'm there. I need that in my veins, so it delivers on that. In terms of the story, as if you've played Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal, this is taken prior to the events of that. So again, you're kind of assuming the shoes, or you're stepped in the shoes again of the Slayer, and you're going to be taking on the hordes of hell in this kind of more medieval inspired tale, which is great. Going into the game, because I didn't really pay too much attention to the trailers going in, because I wanted to just kind of keep it fresh. I was expecting this to be a little bit more low tech, but it's still very much, when you're playing it, this Doom sci-fi, just with this kind of cool medieval skin over the top of it, and it works. And it does feel like this brand of 70s metal in that sense, where everybody's singing about Tolkien and Lord of the Rings and these big metal epics. It's kind of got that kind of aesthetic, I would say, at points. But it definitely worked. And, story-wise, I felt that by the end of it, I appreciated the efforts that they've went to id Software just to tell what is a really simple and concise story. They're attempting to create some stakes for the player. I don't think they're going to be getting any plaudits for the narrative, needless to say. But it wasn't until that final few chapters where I feel like something was coming together. Before that, it really was just like some cool looking cutscenes to move you through. But for a Doom game, I think it builds on the established lore that they've set up since 2016 really well. It's a simple story, but it's not the highlight. It's not why we're here. Of course, the reason why we're all here for playing Doom the Dark Age is the gameplay, Scott. That's the main course. That's where your money is. And Doom's always been a blast to play. It's set a high bar for itself, and I think that the Dark Age more than lives up to the series' legacy, just with this really chunky, thrilling and more methodical style of carnage that's on show here. So the Slayer, I'm sure they alluded to this in the developer direct, they say he's a tank, and he is. You are a walking tank in this game. Even from the footsteps, just from walking across it, it's like the Matt Reeves, the Batman. One thing I noted is you could hear Batman, and it's like the Slayer. You hear him, it's like, doof, doof, like all the time. Even if you were to jump off the smallest of cliff, you just make this big, massive impact that wipes out enemies everywhere, and everything about it is like, yep, I'm here, I'm heavy, let's bloody go. And, you feel your weight, but you're never encumbered by it, which is what I was impressed by, because it's not like I feel so bogged down by this clear, like, nerfing of the speed compared to Eternal. But you still feel powerful in engagements, but you don't feel OP as well, which I thought is just a really, really wonderful balance they've managed to strike. As opposed to if you look at Doom Eternal, where it was all, adrenaline platform focus. Here, the game's basically wanting you to stand up to the hordes of hell, as opposed to maneuver around for an opening. So it's basically just stand your ground, blast through it, and have fun. That's basically the name of the game here. And it's embodied in the addition of the shield, which is kind of like your new toy that you get to play with in the game. Which after playing, to be fair, best compliment I could pay it is that I can't imagine doing without it now. And yes, Scott, big question, and I'll answer it now. There are parries. And oh Lord, there are parries in this game. Basically the combat setup's going to have you regularly attack, defend, and position yourself to survive. That's basically it. And survive's not really the word I want to use in a Doom game, because it's more like they're locked in that arena with you because you're just ripping and tearing things. It's much, I would say it's not much, it's a lot slower than the predecessor, but it's still just so much fun, and it's just liquid gameplay. Like, it is impeccably made. Like, it's at no point did I ever think or experience anything that was bogged down, sluggish. It still felt nice and smooth, and those moment to moment, like, there's some fights later on in the game, and my screen was just ablaze with carnage and mayhem and viscera, and I'm like, this is excellent, because it's all done in like a second. It's still just kind of trying to get your heart rate going a little bit, which is great. And of course, central to all of this is the guns. I mean, guns are a hallmark of the series, and they're all here. They've got the iconic super shotgun, of course, but there's some new weapons peppered in here, such as like the pulverizer, and my personal favourite, the chain shot, which was just amazing. Absolutely amazing gun. It's basically like a ball and chain that you fire out, and it comes right back into the gun, and you charge it, so you can just absolutely pulverize some of the demons with it. It's amazing. But all the guns are still taking this kind of remit of blending that old tech and new tech just amazingly well. Like, the style of all the guns is just so gnarly and cool. And again, the style of the whole game is so strong, and it just adds to that overall experience. I found myself as well in this version of Doom rotating quite regularly between all the guns,
cool.
Which was nice, because I'd usually tend to lean on one or two in past Doom games, because you get your favourites. You still could, but this, I found in this occasion, they were just all so much fun, and I just felt like it felt so great to actually pull the trigger on your controller and shoot all these different guns. It was encouraging to you all the way through it. And there's guns there for different things. If you want one that's going to take a wider area, you can take things like the pulverizer, which is, you've seen in the trailers, it uses the skull to kind of spread out bone shards everywhere. Chain shot that I mentioned is a lot more focused. Of course, you have like your shotguns, etc., and your rocket launchers. There's a few other ones in there, hallmark guns that they've redid, which is really cool, but I'm not going to mention what it is, but you'll get to see it in the game. They've also, though, to mix things up this time, they've only went and added in a dragon and an Atlan, which is basically a huge mech for some gigantic slugfest, which is amazing. And I really appreciated them during my playthrough, because it broke up the kind of standard first-person gun focus.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned earlier, it was a palette cleanser. These sections weren't particularly long, didn't overstay their welcome, but they peppered them in, and there wasn't a lot of them, I would say. I was expecting more when it's introduced to you. I was like, right, they're going to be rotating this quite a lot. But they didn't. But I must say, if it left me wanting more of that, and again, if there's another Doom after this, they definitely need to just keep chucking in dragons and mechs, because it's so much fun, man. And again, it's just, they know what they're trying to do. They're wanting this to be a total power fantasy, metal as all hell, and it delivers on that. In terms of the game design itself, though, I mean, so Doom the Dark Ages is, again, broken up into chapters. It's a very clear objective for you to go A to B, which you can do. And each one of the chapters is a very generous map, I would say, and most of them. So they're just all busting with secrets and currency for you to collect, which again just adds a lot more gameplay value for the explorers among us. But if you're not that way inclined and you just want a very straight, streamlined experience, you can do that. The game's not forcing you. Of course, it's worthwhile exploring because you need that currency for your upgrades, and it's well worth getting the upgrades. That's all I'm going to say, because it makes it a lot more fun. General arenas, though, for the combat, I'd say in terms of how they're designed, they're excellent. They really are excellent. You know, it's still, they create enough verticality and open space for each fight without making you feel weighed down or cornered, or it being so sparse. So they've just got the balance just right. Again, id Software just know what they're doing. You know, like how do they create something and stuff it full of demons? It seems like a simple thing to do, but you could very easily become overwhelmed. You can in moments. It can kick your ass sometimes. You know, I was just kind of playing it on the standard difficulty, which I think is, I don't know if it's hurt me plenty. I think it is, but it's a standard difficulty they just give you off the bat. There is the mega challenging, like Ultra Nightmare mode, and that's still in there, which you'll remember, Scott. We tried to do that one night in 2016, and it did not end well, but it's some laugh. It is a major challenge, and I did feel that it wasn't as hard to get through as Doom Eternal, particularly in the later stages. I felt like it was kind of sussed out a little bit. Now, I'm sure, obviously, if I put it on Ultra Nightmare, it's a different story, but I felt like on the standard difficulty, it was just a little bit more forgiving. One positive, I'd say, is the accessibility in terms of the difficulty, is they've got it in spades. So if you are wanting to just tweak things, as simple as if you want to up the damage you're doing, lower it, the damage you receive, etc., the aggression that you're getting from enemies, it's all there. So you can really tailor this to make this as non-difficult as you want it to be, which again, each to their own. Yeah. You have your own experience, because if you want to ratchet it all the way down and go in for a total power fantasy, go ahead. The game does not do anything like Wolfenstein, where it kind of teases the player for doing it. It's very much like, hey, you know what I mean? You've got the game, play it how you want. And of course, the challenge is there for those masochists that want it, but I can only imagine what this game would be like in Ultra Nightmare mode. Excuse me. Something you'd be attracted to, Scott, I'd imagine.
I mean, that's the kind of thoughts for me, though, is that I'm typically not, Doom guy, you know what I mean? So it's got me thinking about, there's now parries and stuff, and it's something that I'm definitely considering. Is there still, so obviously you're saying like you are a tank. Do you have the mobility of a tank, or do you have the mobility of, a normal Doom? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're still quick. You can still make exceptional leaps and all that. They've just pulled it back from what Doom Eternal was given, where it was, I think some players felt that it was too fast. Me, I loved it for that, because I felt like Doom Eternal was such a sugar rush at points, and an adrenaline rush as well. This game definitely wants you to just bring the pace back just a notch, but you're not walking about. How can I describe it? If you're walking about in a first-person shooter, or even something like Overwatch, and you're in like I'm trying to think who's one of the characters is, or like Reinhardt, and he's deliberately slower than the rest of the characters because he's huge. It's not like that here. You've got your sprint button. You can still absolutely like pelt it through these levels. It's just when it comes down to the double jumps, etc., that's not here. It's more around it's a little bit more deliberate. They're wanting you to face up to the demons, as opposed to, like I said earlier, maneuver around them. You still got some cool tricks up your sleeve, though. Like the shield, for example. You don't have like a dash or a dodge, but the shield, you press L, like the left trigger, and then the right trigger. You can like leap like across the map and just shield bash them, which is great. And if you time it right, they just burst into chunks of flesh. or you can use it to take off some armor, and that takes a few seconds to recharge, so you can't just sit and spam it. So everything in there is just building up these little blocks of Doom that we know and love. And I think the more classic Doom fans from pre-2016 will definitely find a lot to love. But I think that if you're just jumping onto the series, Doom the Dark Ages is probably the best one to jump on with.
Cool.
Even more so than Doom 2016, because I feel like that can... Doom 2016 was a great game for me. I'd probably give it a 7. If I'm honest, I feel like it was the tech demo that kind of proved the concept of what they're trying to do. But the Dark Ages, I feel like if you're either new or you're old to the series, you're going to have a really good time with this game. It's thrilling. Let's say 8, great. I have to say though, on the music front, which I adore, like the Doom soundtracks, is something that I'll play regularly on Spotify, because I'm a psychopath, but I just enjoy the music in it. But I'll be honest, whilst the music is great in the game, I was kind of let down at moments just because I feel like it just wasn't enough metal.
Mm-hmm.
And, just those moments in the fights where it cranks up a little bit, it just didn't hit the same. I even put the music to 100 because by default it's like 80 or something like that. Put it up to 100, but for some strange reason it just wasn't connecting as well moment to moment. And that's me with headphones on.
You just need to listen to the old Braun Strowman theme tune.
I do. It is something like that, the old Seth Rollins theme, something like that. But I think it's maybe the reduced rhythm of the gameplay that might be the main contributor to that.
Yeah.
That being said, it's still classic Doom, so it still sounds the part you're going to get, the double basses kicking in, etc. But I just needed it to go to 11 when it stays at 10 at points, if that makes any sense. But when you're playing it, you'll understand. And I don't know if there's some type of audio like tweaking they need to do just to kind of make the bass a little bit louder, just make something a little bit more pulsing, because it does it's quite faint even when it's up to 100.
Mm-hmm.
At moments, that is. In terms of the overall presentation though, as I said before, they know how to make a game. That like the Dark Ages just looked pristine on Series X. It ran like a dream. Like that really took me back. There's virtually no loading in this game at all. Experienced no bugs in my playthrough, and it's easy to take all those things for granted, but this is every part of the AAA game experience. There's also some cool Lovecraftian areas that they introduce.
Now he's got me.
There we go. And that's not a spoiler. They've already put that out in the trailers, and it really pops. I think it's a real showcase what the Series X can do. But I think I would have loved to have played this on PS5 Pro just to see how the pisser would have, made it look even better. And I can only imagine that it does. I'm sure there's a Digital Foundry video out there that I'll need to go check out later. But it just looks fantastic. I'd love to see more trips away from hell in the future, just with those Lovecraftian areas. They just give you just enough of it. But overall, I'd say I came away just really loving my time with Doom the Dark Ages. I think the tanky style gameplay is a lot of fun. Ultimately, though, I did feel it was a slight step backwards after Eternal, which is why I came down on an 8. Eternal for me was a 9 out of 10. But for me, I think whilst it's a really impressively made game, it's really going to satisfy fans old and new. Good launch point for newcomers in particular. I think it's just not that adrenaline rush at moments that Eternal had offered, but it's still there, just not as often. I definitely recommend this if you want a shooter where you're feeling powerful. You can also be challenged if you want, and you need a release. It does that. It's Doom. It's back. It's a no-brainer on Game Pass as well, and definitely, Scott, this is the Doom game for you. It really is.
This is what it says every single time.
No, I really mean it. I think the slow gameplay, and then you'll love the shield gameplay in it. It's like Captain America, but mean.
Well, hi. See you're obviously talking about it being a step back from Eternal, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's by design because they thought Eternal was a step too far?
I think it feels like a response, but I also feel like they wanted to try something new. Because if you were to do Eternal again, it becomes Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Not Advanced, What's the one with Kit Harington in it again?
Oh fuck.
That one, Space Cod. It becomes that.
It's not Advanced Warfare.
Is it Advanced? I thought that was one with Kevin
Spacey. Advanced Warfare.
Oh, Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare. Yeah. There you go.
God,
Kit Harington.
I think they start going into that. I do appreciate why they've taken the direction. I think it makes sense from their lore perspective, but it really fits Doom. But they've done it really well. I can't emphasize this enough. It's an 8 out of 10 game for me, which is a really high score, I would say. It's just the fact that I went in expecting that same experience I had with Eternal, where like it was like a white knuckle ride, right? Doom Eternal is the roller coaster that has 16 loops in it and twists, whereas Doom the Dark Ages is probably the wooden roller coaster, I would say. Still thrilling, still fantastic, it needs to be exceptionally made. You're going to have a lot of fun on it. It's probably, there's just maybe a better roller coaster right next to it. That's probably my only criticism that I have, or my biggest criticism, I would say. But I review it for what it is and what it's not. And it's an 8 out of 10 game. I think if you have Game Pass, you'll be looking forward to it. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. And yeah, it's definitely just yet another high quality game that's on Xbox, but as well as other platforms. But this is going to have the Xbox, label slapped all over it naturally because it's a Bethesda game. But yeah, it's definitely one that's worth checking out this weekend. Perfect game for that, I think. But a weekend game, just high action, just getting right about it. And it's got such replayability as well,
Good.
So if you were to just splish the cash on it, I think there's so many options in there to keep you busy. All in all, I think you can get through the campaign in about, at best, maybe 12 hours. At worst, in higher difficulties, it would definitely take about 20. And if you wanted to complete everything, probably about 20, 25 hours, I would say. And also, it's a easy platinum. So just throwing that out there, Scott. But yeah, that's in terms of the rest of this week. I want to finish Assassin's Creed Shadows, so I will definitely do that by next episode. But see, since that Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer, I feel it's time for my annual playthrough of GTA 5. So you asking me to help you and Sonny Los Santos is coming at the right time, and I feel like if I've got time to squeeze that in. But I've also got things like South of Midnight still sitting there. And I've heard that that's not a long game, so I could probably get through that fairly quickly. I'm just trying to take full advantage most of half the time.
Quite right. Yeah,
Head of the Switch 2 launch as well, which is not far away. I know you'll be excited for yours to arrive on launch day, Scott. So
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing about it.
Oh,
most underwhelming launch lineup so far. Like, do you know what I mean? Like Mario Kart World, great, but everything else, like, who gives a fuck? Like, I know for a fact that this is like Nintendo are going to be like listening to this podcast and make me eat my words. But I promise you, listeners, I am going to hold firm on my promise to not buy a Nintendo Switch until 2026.
Do you know the scary thing is? So, and absolutely, stand by your laurels. If that's really what you feel, because we're obviously joking. We know Scott's going to get one eventually. May not be at launch, but I do worry that it might rocket up in price.
I think it will.
It definitely will in the US, but you can't just target one. You can't target the country that's causing all the bother. You have to do it with everybody. But and then I think PlayStation, there's rumours of that flying about. In terms of good rumours, though, so I'm not going down the cost chat again. Good rumour that I had seen on Push Square today, or yesterday, I believe it was, is that there's rumours flying about that we might be getting a pisser upgrade on the PS5 Pro soon, which would make the games look even better and be more in line with what they originally promised on launch. Now, again, large grain of salt with that one, but I'm looking forward to seeing if that is true, because I feel like it's just getting into the swing of things.
Yeah, I mean, and there was the time to do it, and also keeps me in line with my prediction about this console generation. I also saw there's rumours swirling around of a Grand Theft Auto 4 remaster, whatever it is, as well, an update, which I wouldn't be too unhappy about.
I think it's time. I think if you look what happened to like Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion.
Yeah.
I mean, people are crying out for any excuse to kind of go back to classic games from yesteryear, you know. Nostalgia's huge. Nostalgia is such a huge business for us old gamers, of course. And yeah, I think they'd be daft not to, because it's just money sitting there. But of course, Scott, speaking of nostalgia, it's time for us to move on.
Such a good segue. It's fucking unreal. Every single time you do it, it still gets me. I pop for it every single time.
that could be my gimmick then for the segue, man. But it means it's time for our main topic this week. Now, last week, of course, it was a bit of a serious one, but it was a chat we had to have. But this week, we're going to have a bit of fun. We're going to have a challenge main topic this week, Scott. And it's simply put, one console, one game. Now, the rules here are simple, good sir. Now, I've issued you with a list of consoles that we're going to go through, because we can't do every one over time, but there's quite a list there, which I'll read out before we get started. So the rules are really easy. We can each only pick one game for the one console on this list. And then at the end, we're going to pick the one that we would have for all time over all of them. So it's a bit of fun, bit of like Desert Island Disc or Desert Island Downloads, whatever you want to call it. So it's basically that. Now, it doesn't have to be exclusive. It can just be a console that you could play, or it could be a game that you could play on that console. So, for example, if you wanted to pick Doom the Dark Ages on Series X, you're well within your rights to do that. So, the consoles that we've got here for this one, Scott, and I hope you've got your notes at the ready, because I found this a lot of fun, but also really fucking hard the later it went on, which was strange.
Yeah.
Which is probably a sign of so many more quality games that you've experienced as you get older. But so the list we've got is as follows. So we've got the NES, Game Boy, the SNES, Mega Drive, the PlayStation, Dreamcast, Xbox, PS2, GameCube, the 360, PS3, the Wii, the Xbox One, the PS4, the Wii U, Series S and X, PS5, and the Switch. So
we're missing the N-Gage on there.
Oh, of course. How could I? I mean, there's ones out there. It's like, you know, got the PSP and stuff like that.
Vita, the Nintendo DS.
You could put the Vita, but there's nothing there worth playing on it. Yeah, that's right. Come at me. It's my heel turn now. Traded it in for booze money, Scott. Don't regret a thing. I was wise in my 20s. But yeah, I think this is a pretty tasty list, you know. But it's something. How did you find it? Because when I sat down, I thought about it in so many different ways, and by the end of the list, I was having a totally different approach from what I did at the start.
I treated this like word association. Like the minute you say a console to me, what's the first game that I think of? So I've gone on pure vibes for 80% of this list.
Excellent.
The last 5 or 6. I had to really, really think about, but there's a few on there I'm like, fucking hell, man. Like, what a taste in games this boy has, because it's unreal. It really is unreal.
Yeah, there was some definite choices that I had to make, and I took the approach at first of like, if it was like I'm stuck in a house and it's like you can only ever have one game, or what would it be? And then I took the approach of, right, what if Thanos would snap every single one of these out of existence when you pick one? And then that's when I start sweating as the list goes on, because I must have changed it a few times on some of them. So I was a bit more casual at the start of the list, which might be evident. But let's start at the top then, Scott. So the NES, what's the one game that you would have at the expense of all the others?
It's so easy. Super Mario Brothers 3.
Oh, there we go. Right, so we've got a doubler there on the list, which is good. That is an easy one, but if you had one game forever on that console,
a fucking classic. It's still a classic.
Plus, I mean, if you it's in this scenario, right, and you couldn't play it, if every other one was to get snapped out of existence, right, and it was like, there's your NES, there's Super Mario Brothers 3, there's endless entertainment, endless. All the secrets, etc.
I mean, snap every single Mario game out of existence and just make Super Mario Brothers 3 the only one to ever have existed.
Well,
I could take it.
Well, you know, that's a very lofty take there, so they're coming for you now.
I could easily take it.
Well, that's a nice easy one to get us kicked off with then. But then the second one here, the Game Boy. So you could go in so many different directions, because at first I thought, piece of piss, easy. That was a hard one. It's a hard one, man. What did you come up with?
It is a piece of piss. The answer's Tetris.
Another doubler.
Never ending fun. It's certainly not that fucking travesty of the fucking golden coins Mario pish.
Do you know, you say that I nearly picked it because I just remember having so much good times playing that as a kid. When you're a kid,
shite.
you don't know any different.
It's so pish.
Going back to it as an adult, I think it was on
it's on
the
Switch
Nintendo Online. And it's like, oh, this is rough. But as a kid, I remember just sitting playing that a lot in the back of the car.
So but bad.
Yeah, it has to be Tetris, man. Like that's where I first played it.
I really, really, really struggled with the next one though. Like more than I want to actually explain, because the next one is obviously the SNES.
Yes, well, before we do, I should also add, because I want you to feel bad about the games you've snapped out of existence here. Because we've just snapped out Pokemon as well.
Fuck Pokemon.
We have though.
Pokemon can exist in the future. It's fine.
Oh, man. Because Pokemon Gold nearly made the cut here, but I mean, that is Tetris. But I mean, in this world, I don't have no Pokemon.
It's weird because I don't really view, this is a stupid take, but I don't really view Pokemon as a Game Boy game because I got it later. So like by the time I was playing it, it was on like an Advance or like a Game Boy Color. Right, like when I'm thinking of the Game Boy, it's that big
chunky bad boy,
chunky grey thing that I remember getting for Christmas, and my dad played it. So yeah,
it was great. Probably the screen size was about a 50p piece. It was great.
It was so good. It was so good.
Right, up next, the SNES. Right, take your time on this one. Take your time, because I have a funny feeling we might have a double on this as well. But this was a hard one.
I don't think we will.
Okay.
I really don't think we will.
Okay, I
thought about it so much, Liam, because there's so many fucking RPGs, so many platformers. It's disgusting. Super Mario World exists. Do you know what I mean? But no, I really, really thought about it, and I thought, what is the one game that I could go back to, especially on a desert island, for pure vibes? And it's Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, right, okay.
It's fucking every other SNES game can go fuck itself. I could listen to the opening for Donkey Kong Country forever, and I'd be happy. Not even play the game, just that opening intro. I'm there for it. If I could set that as my alarm for every single morning, I think I'd wake up happier than ever.
I mean, there'll be people out there that'll be quite happy that if that's the only SNES game in existence. Me, I've picked one as purely in the vibes. I've thought, right, I've actually had the image in my head on a wee desert island with nothing but a wee telly and a SNES. It's like, it's the one game I want to be left with, and I can't get any other one. And this was tough, really tough. I even thought, and shout out to Sean, the music man, I even thought about putting Sunset Riders here, just because it's an absolute classic. Janky as all hell. Many good memories playing that with Sean. But I've ultimately landed on Street Fighter 2 Turbo, because I feel that the nostalgia there and the endless plays of Street Fighter just as a kid, I'd be happy forever. I'd be still totally shite at it.
I was going to say, you get to Bison in the end, you just get fucking scalped every single time.
But then I'll have a lifetime to master it in this. Me and Wilson.
Whereas you could jump deep into the arms of the donkiest of Kongs, and let him caress your soul.
This is the thing. I am more concerned with the fact that I have obliterated out of existence Super Metroid and even like A Link to the Past.
Yeah, I did think about Metroid and Zelda and stuff as well, but even just daft wee things like the Lost Vikings. Yeah. Come on now. But that lives forever in my heart. If that has been blasted, at least I remember that it was there.
we have like already, well, like three consoles like this list, and there's been some absolute bangers just completely eviscerated.
Destroyed.
Well, let's move on to the next one, because this one, I think this is a tough one as well, because you're either one or the other. The Mega Drive, right? Now, fun fact, the first console I ever officially owned was actually the Master System. I didn't put it on here because I felt like the Mega Drive was more you either had the SNES or a Mega Drive, I remember growing up, and that was for the longest time before PlayStation came. But yeah, Mega Drive, Scott. How did you fare on this one? What are you getting rid of?
I really struggled with this. the Mega Drive reminds me so much of my auntie, who died far too young. But she used to live up the road from us, and every single weekend would always either go up there or come down to us. And she had a Mega Drive in her room, and it was always the fucking best thing on earth, to actually play it. Now, for love nor money, I cannot remember any other game on the Mega Drive apart from the game Columns.
Right.
Columns. It's weird Greek Tetris. Do you know what I mean? Like it's got the greatest soundtrack I think the Mega Drive has ever seen. I remember that and that alone. I can't even honestly remember. I think that's on Mega Drive. I had to Google it, but I couldn't remember for sure. But I fucking loved Columns, and it was on. It's on Switch online as well with the actual expansion on it. So I'll have to go back one of these days.
You've unlocked a memory here for me, because I'm like, what the hell's he talking about? And I'm just seeing it. I'm like, oh yeah.
See once you hear the intro music for that game, it'll hit like crack. Like it's so good. Columns, bring it back, man.
Oh man.
Tetris needs to take a back seat now. Columns is where it's at.
I'd also add as well for our American listeners, we're talking about the Genesis.
Yeah.
It's Mega Drive over here. But yeah, man, that's unlocked a memory. I never had the Mega Drive. I had the Master System, so I spent a lot of time with my cousins because that was just a done thing. It's one thing that I really cherish about growing up in the era we did, which is just like sitting side by side with your friends, or usually cousins because they were your pals growing up, and it's just playing endlessly. And it was good because I think the parents sussed out we only have to buy the one console, and then you can kind of just go in between it. But for me, that's what played a huge role in this one for me. I had to pick Golden Axe for it, purely for those memories as a kid playing that with my cousin, and just constantly having so much fun playing this game. Loved it. But the game that almost took it for me was a Golden Axe like Alien Storm. I don't know if you remember it, but it's basically Golden Axe but with aliens and guns, and it's oh man, such an affinity for both those games, and they were the two games in rotation constantly because they're all the time playing each other, player one, player two, and I feel like Golden Axe it had to be, but it was a really close one because my first instinct was Alien Storm, and I was like, actually no, it has to be Golden Axe.
It's tough. Like there's games that completely omitted, like fucking Streets of Rage.
Yep.
Things like Shinobi. I can remember the opening to Shinobi like so vividly in my head, and the one that almost took it, and it's very similar to Columns, was Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. Remember that? Glorious time.
It's interesting we didn't pick a Sonic game because I thought maybe one of us would, but it wasn't the first thought that came to my head.
I've never really had this is a I don't know if a unit of this podcast this is really the thing to be saying here, but I've never really had an affinity for Sonic.
I've never had the Sonic phase. He's
a bit of a pain in the arse. I don't like the fact that it's all so Sonic 1, for example, right? Soapbox moment. The game wants you to go left to right, but then and it gives you the speed to do so. But then it also wants you to jump up and down. It's like, no, you can't have it both ways. Like, give me the speed to go left and right, and just let me launch myself. Like, it bothers me. So
that's one of the most unique takes in Sonic I've ever heard.
It's the same. It's the same with like 3D Sonics as well. Like Sonic Adventure. Like,
yeah,
the best parts of that game is when you're actually like chaining together movement. See when you're having to like the things, is it 2 or 1 where you have to go and find the diamonds and stuff like that, is like Knuckles or Rouge the Bat, and it's like, this is fucking pish. Like, just get me back to Sonic and running about like a cunt. Like, just let me do it. So it's so annoying.
I know. I've tried to get my son to play like as close. I tried to get to play Sonic Mania, which is effectively classic Sonic, and he was just kind of like, "What's the point in this?" But he still loves Sonic, as you know. He had a Sonic themed birthday party. But I put that down to, what was the one that was a Zelda inspired one, Breath of the Wild one?
Oh, Frontiers.
Sonic Frontiers and the movies, effectively. But
yeah,
no, I definitely had my Sonic time in the kid, but you don't have to worry about him because you've just obliterated him. So yeah, he's gone. Yeah, he doesn't exist in your world. It only gets harder from here, Scott. Right. So the next one here.
I'm sorry. I reckon you could tell everyone the next two answers for me. To be honest with you, like,
right, okay.
I reckon you could do it.
Okay, right. So crystal ball time. So the next one here for PlayStation, I'm predicting here. PlayStation for Scott Curry. What could it be? I know what it is. It's Pandemonium.
Of course, it's Pandemonium.
It's a great game. 1 and 2. No, it's Metal Gear Solid for you. Surely it has to be.
Of course it is.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I nearly put it there myself, but I'm here to have some fun. And I thought, what is me and Wilson going to be playing on the island together? So it's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 for me.
Of course it is.
It has to be. The endless gameplay, man. Like, I take this purely based on being able to play it forever and perfect my score. I nearly almost picked Spider-Man as well, believe it or not, because I thought, it's a endlessly good game with lots of wee secrets. But Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, man, the streets, I think, are forgetting just how good that game was. And we're on the eve of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. We will be talking more about this in a future episode. And I'm going to have fellow Tony Hawk's Pro Skater advocate, the music man, Sean Murray, here to join us for it. But yeah, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, man. Like, I can't. The thing is, this is now you're starting to get into the era of story-led games, and I've taken this into my decision making. And not that I haven't got ones that's big on story, but it's like, how many times could we actually play it? Not to say Metal Gear Solid doesn't have that, because it's a tough one. So in my world, I don't have that moment. I don't have the moments of Shadow Moses, Psycho Mantis, you name it, Liquid, Master Miller. Everything that's just like, I've obliterated it. I don't feel good about it, but I feel like I need to send a signal to Kojima.
I've thought about it tactically here, so it is something that I've taken into consideration for the future as well. So don't you worry about it. It is something. And also, apologies to anyone listening, because my dog has just decided to make her presence felt.
We can't hear her. We can't hear her.
Yeah, you will in a minute.
That's why she's going for a big drink.
Right.
Excellent.
She's away to eat her dinner. She's actually sitting crunching on food. Here's the ASMR content that everyone wants.
She's on the Spanish dinner clock. That's what she is. Having done it after 10. So PlayStation out the road. Pretty decent one. We have committed war crimes at this point. The amount of amazing games that have just been out of existence. The next one's got Dreamcast. Now, following last week, of course, your pick is Soul Calibur.
Come on now. You've got to get to the edge of Soul. It's not even the right game, but you've got to get to the edge of Soul. I can't not fucking have Soul Calibur. Sonic's gone. Sonic's fucking dead and buried. Soul Calibur, come to me.
Well, I've shaken that up a wee bit. Dreamcast, not my favourite console. For me, I picked Crazy Taxi. For me, just because, again, I'm just thinking about endless gameplay, beating scores at this point. Now you can see my thinking at this point in the list, because I've went from like Tony Hawk, Street Fighter, etc. And I'm like, what could I play endlessly? And I'm like, Crazy Taxi, why not? Probably if I just had that console on the island with that game, it's probably getting left to the bottom of the pile, if I'm honest. But that has to be Crazy Taxi for me. But we'll move on, and we're getting into the generations now where Bill Gates wants to be word. I'm really intrigued to hear what you picked for the Xbox. Really intrigued.
I really fucking struggled with it, if you want to hear the truth. My only memories are playing 2 games on the original Xbox, and I owned the original Xbox as well. So and I'm not going down the easy routes, because fuck that. Let's just have fun with this. So it could have been one of 2 games. The first game it could have been is Max Payne.
Oh yeah.
I played the original Max Payne on Xbox, and I couldn't get past the bloodline thing. See the bit where you have to walk, you're walking through the dream or the nightmare and stuff, and you have to walk through that line of blood. Hellish. Couldn't see it. Didn't know what I was doing until a few years back when I replayed them all. But no, my choice for the original Xbox was actually Dead or Alive 3.
Oh yeah. No, that's a good shout.
See the minute I saw that it came out on the Xbox, and I remember that I bought it. Jan Lee on that box art looking all orange and red. Come on now.
That's all you need, man. All you need. I mean, for me, this was an easy one for me. I picked Halo 2. Just had to be because I thought, right, I'm off the island now. I've just got one console, one game. Maybe I'm in a wee flat by myself. And it's
Nerd.
At least I thought I've got online capabilities to chuck that in the mix, because I'm looking at this like I have the collection, just the one console and the one game, and that's it. And I thought, yeah, if it's just one in the Xbox, for me, it's going to be Halo 2 that I'm keeping, and I'm deleting the rest. But to be fair, there was a lot of good ones on there, and I'm not going to say what they are because I want to hear what you picked for the PS2, Scott.
Oh, it shouldn't come as a shock. It really shouldn't come as a shock. But it is, for me, it was a difficult one. It was a toss-up between two games.
Mm-hmm.
Two games of the same series.
Oh, right, okay.
And now, this is where it feeds into my original decision to have Metal Gear Solid as my PlayStation choice.
Oh, you swine.
Because I was like, well, if I've got Metal Gear Solid, I might as well have either Metal Gear Solid 3 or Metal Gear Solid 2 on the list. And then it was like, well, which one would I play more? And it's Metal Gear Solid 2. And it's a continuation of the Solid Snake story. So it only makes sense.
It does. I'm not surprised by it. But you're probably gonna get really pissed off at what I've picked.
It's going to be The Simpsons Hit and Run.
It's not. Because PS. I mean, where do you even start, man? It's like if you could only pick one of them at the expense of all of them.
Yeah, 1 trillion games. It could have been Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
That was originally my pick, but then I changed it because no. Because I've got to think about, right, I've got all these other games and all these other consoles with one game. I want to shake things up a bit. So for me, the game I'm picking and sacrificing every other PS2 game for is a game on the Pixel Picks list, not the one that you're thinking. It's Pro Evolution Soccer 5.
Oh, you fucking idiot. I'm so angry.
Honestly,
so angry.
Scott, I could play that game forever. There's going to be people here listening that's either, spitting, they're doing a spit take at what's happening, or they're going to be nodding, going, yeah, what a brave man. What a brave man. I've just got rid of all the GTAs and stuff, and Metal Gear Solid, Spider-Man 2, the Eco, everything, you name it. Okami. I've got rid of everything for the expense of for John Terry looking at Thierry Henry.
Oh my God.
That game is impeccable. It's absolutely impeccable, and you could play that to the end of time. Honestly, Master League constantly. Yeah. I'm happy with
I honestly can't even look at you now. Just completely obliterated an entire back catalogue of excellent games for a terrible fucking, not even the best football game.
It is the best football game, dear sir. It is. But it's a fantastic time. But listen, it's my wee imaginary flat with only these consoles in it, so I'm taking it one at one.
Just playing Master League by yourself the whole time.
That's it. I just get to act like I'm 14 again. It's fantastic. We'll move on then to the GameCube, which I think probably not as many heinous crimes is going to be committed. A very good catalogue, but not as many as the PS2. Difficult, but not as difficult. What did you pick?
I mean, again, I went with my heart on this one, Liam. Not everyone's favourite, but certainly one of mine. I mean, maybe top 2, top 3 favourites. And I'm talking about Super Mario games, because this motherfucker went with Super Mario Sunshine. I fucking love Super Mario Sunshine. Every other fucking Mario game can go fuck itself.
Oh my! Now I know you're
apart from Super Mario Brothers 3, the two of them together.
Oh my God! It is, of all the Super Mario games to pick, of course you would have an affinity for Sunshine.
Sunshine is legitimately one of my favourite games of all time. I fucking love it. And you know, I'll say this out loud, right? The fans need to know. They need to know is that I do 100% prefer Super Mario Sunshine to any of the Super Mario Galaxy games.
You are insane. You're on crack.
I do. I actually think it's better. I personally think it's better than 64. Like,
well,
I genuinely fucking love the vibes of Super Mario Sunshine. It might not be the best Super Mario game, I'll concede that, but see the fucking pure vibes. of like fucking Delfino Island and stuff like that. And when you do all of your do, it's like fucking right into the veins, Liam. If I'm the only man on earth and I've got one GameCube game to play, it's The Last of Us, and I've bumped into a game store and nobody's bought this one game because everyone fucking hates it, and it's Super Mario Sunshine, I would drop to my knees. My face would be the same as Tom Hanks' face when he pisses in the Green Mile, and it'd be like,
I have never heard such an enthusiasm for Super Mario Sunshine.
Love it.
You do you, man. You do you. That's the main thing. That's not. You're right. It's not about picking the best. It's about picking the one that you would pick over all others. If that was.
I mean, that pick makes Pro Evolution Soccer look good. Do you know what I mean? So I've done you a favour.
Soccer is a fantastic choice because it'll make sense in the end. Don't you worry. I'm building this. The storytelling going on here. For me, the GameCube, like I actually found this quite hard because at first I thought GameCube no bother, and when I sit down and look at it, I'm like, oh, there's some pretty good old timers here, and there's other games that you wouldn't even think. It was Rogue Squadron and like the Star Wars Jedi Academy games and stuff. But for me, it had to be Metroid Prime. I think it's such a special game for me, and if I couldn't play anything else on it, I feel I've picked well. It really is a special game, and I'm glad the collection's there on Switch. If anybody hasn't checked it out, you're not going to go wrong. It's a fantastic game, fantastic time. I've started to get the remaster myself. I've not played it since playing it on the GameCube, so I'm pretty intrigued to see what that's like. But yeah, if you're ever wondering what the fuss is about, that's it. And if I was to delete every other GameCube game, at least it's better than Super Mario Sunshine. So that's
disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Well, we move into another generation here, Scott.
I think this is going to be where a war crime's committed. This is my war crime now.
Oh God, here it goes. Right, on you go. Let's see, the Xbox 360.
Xbox 360. The first generation that I genuinely, had my own autonomy in. PS2 was my brother's and stuff like that. So this was the first console that I had, and I could buy shit with my own money and play it. And if the conversation is about what's the game that we can replay most, what's the one that I automatically will go back to every single time and enjoy, it's Guitar Hero 2.
Ooh, okay.
And it's legitimately because, if we're obliterating, all forms of media and it's only video games that exist, then at least I can listen to and play Freebird on my desert island by myself and enjoy every fucking moment of it. It was a toss up. What could have been Guitar Hero 2, Guitar Hero World Tour, Guitar Hero Metallica, Rock Band, Beatles. It could have been anything.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like fucking fire them all into me. But Guitar Hero 2 is the one that I remember because it had that white guitar and it was fucking excellent. Love that shit.
That was the first Guitar Hero I remember playing because I think that's when it started to really catch fire. It was actually a fun fact. It was actually at the Music Man Sean Murray's house. We first played that, and it was like seeing the light. You're like, I get this. I need this. And I waited till Guitar Hero 3 when I finally got on board with the series, when I could actually buy it because I was working then. Too young before that, Scott. There was a time when I was too young, but good pick though. I mean, I don't think that's a war crime. I can totally understand it.
When you consider all the games that have been on the Xbox 360 though.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. At this point, there's nothing but nuclear attacks that's happening at this point. So for me, I thought I took the strategic route with this one, Scott. And I actually had to go back and change it because my original pick wasn't what I ended up with, but I'm happy with where I've landed. So for me on the 360, my pick, if it's just one game I can have on it, it's not an exclusive. It's Grand Theft Auto 5, in all of its original glory, because if there's going to be one game that you can have, and I need to kind of make up some ground after the atrocities committed on the PS2 pick, so I thought I need to have a GTA in there somewhere. So it's a really basic bitch answer, but at the same time, I mean, come on, it's just one of the best games ever. And playing that on the 360 when we did, just after graduation, which I thought was released in May. It's released in September, but I remember just staying at my mum's at the time, in this absolutely roasting hot bedroom, with this 360 belting out all the hot air possible to run the damn thing, and 100% in it. Just sitting there doing nothing, just 100% in it, and it was fantastic.
I would love to go back to that day and see what it looked like. Like, how did it run? Because
I did do that. But I had to use the magic of YouTube, the time capsule for all gamers, and I'll text it to you because I don't have it to hand, but it's the YouTuber basically did exactly that, a comparison video of the original GTA 5, original GTA 5 code, effectively, the launch version without updates, and compared it to the PS5, and that is frightening. Like, how that game managed to run on a 360 or PlayStation 3 is astounding.
It's disgusting. But you need to vamp for 30 seconds. I need to let my dog out because she's going to literally shit on the floor. She's literally looking at me like dying for it. I can hear you though. I'll take you with me. How's that?
Yeah, there you go. Take maybe walk. But yeah, no, I think GTA 5, I think it's something that still felt like it was the grand closer to what was an awesome console generation, but there was so many good games I could have picked instead, like Mass Effect 2, Fallout 3, Elder Scrolls 4 and 5. You could pick Skyrim for about 20 of these consoles in the list, but there's so many I could have picked. Gears of War, Halo 3, there was so many.
That was the other one, so I put Gears of War or Guitar Hero 2.
Yeah, and you're right, all the Guitar Hero games as well, like this game, the 360 console generation, particularly the 360, was such an all-timer though, because it was that's when gaming really went up a gear, I think, into what we know as modern gaming. And even if you were that way inclined, you could have picked Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 or something.
Black Ops.
Black Ops 2, yeah, exactly. There's counting tens of thousands of hours spent on that console, but if that was the one game I could walk away with, I'd be pretty happy. Let me look at its competitor of that generation, Scott. The PlayStation 3. Now, at first I thought, a piece of piss. But this is one where I felt like the heavyweight exclusives start to carry some weight for me personally. But what did you pick on the PlayStation 3?
Well, it's a funny story. This. Because as you remember, a few minutes ago we were talking about the PlayStation 2. And a few minutes before that, we were talking about the PlayStation. And I was just continuing the storyline arc. So if you're going to have Metal Gear Solid, you need to have Metal Gear Solid 2. So naturally, you have to have Metal Gear Solid 4. Of course, you have to have Metal Gear Solid 4.
You're committed. I will give you that.
I'm committed to the bit. I mean, I can play through the entire Solid Snake saga of Metal Gear Solid, and I'd enjoy every single moment of it. Just to go back to Shadow Moses, see, every so often, like I'll go and watch Coco. I'll watch the film Coco just to cry and just to feel something at the end of it, because it makes me feel emotions that I haven't felt in a very long time. And going back to Shadow Moses and Metal Gear Solid 4 is one of those things as well. When the thrill of that music comes in and you can hear it, and it's like dun, 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 dun. It's like, oh my god, we're so fucking back. Oh, I love that shit, man. I
really look forward to the Volume 2 collection where they remaster that.
Seriously, I genuinely am convinced that I will not stop playing that game. I fucking love Metal Gear Solid 4. It's like the black sheep of the whole series, and I love that shit. Love it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's oddly now underrated. At the time, not at all. I think it was justifiably rated because it was one of the highest rated games of all time.
Yeah,
when it came out, justifiably so. For me though, I'm thinking, right, if it's going to just be one game that I can pick on the PlayStation 3, I suppose you could say that the name of this game is what it would end up being, which would be The Last of Us. It's the very last game of all those consoles. Again, you talk about a curtain call to that generation, and The Last of Us. I feel like if I've got GTA 5 and the 360, I need to take an exclusive here in the PS3. And for me, nearly was Uncharted 2, but I thought, no, The Last of Us is so special, and I'm a purist. I like the original, even in all its potatoish glory.
It's funny because I actually hadn't even thought about those games. The minute I saw the PS3, click straight to Metal Gear Solid 4.
Again, both in the same catalogue.
Yeah.
Two exclusives side by side. I mean, the PS3 ended up outselling the 360 in the end, which is crazy when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though my first thought is always it didn't do that well, but hum. But speaking of consoles that did do well, Scott, we'll move on to the Wii. Now, I wonder what you have picked for this, because I can't imagine what nuclear attack you're going to do on this back catalogue.
I don't think anyone that's listened to this podcast is going to be surprised, because I have been a fucking hardcore Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess fan since the day it came out, and my dog has just barked to tell me she agrees. Because my pick is 100% The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, because what a fucking game that is.
I mean, no arguments for me. It's a definite solid pick. Nearly picked it myself, but there's one game that I had to pick because it's just it's perfection, absolute perfection, and a game that is better than a pick you've made earlier. Super Mario Galaxy 2.
It's so wrong. It's wrong, man.
So good, and it frustrates me to this day that they did not add it to the Super Mario 3D All Stars collection. You get Galaxy on it,
so
you don't get Galaxy 2, and I would pay so much money to play it again, and I'm dying for my son to play it because he enjoys Galaxy, because it melts your mind. But
a chocolate pun.
It should have been, actually. But I suppose, like you said, chocolate puns, here's one for you. You picked Super Mario Sunshine. Why have cotton when you can have silk, Scott? And have Super Mario Galaxy 2 instead. So yeah, that's my pick. But it was hard because it was Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah.
There's the other Zelda game, but it's Skyward Sword. There's Wii Sports. So many other games on there as well. I suppose if you were that way inclined, you could have went down the splitting hairs between Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Galaxy 2, but 2 is definitely better in every way. But we'll move on to one that was difficult because there's a bit of a dearth of options here, which is the Xbox One, the ill-fated Xbox One, Scott.
I mean, I'm going to concede on this one because I genuinely don't even know. Like, I bought an Xbox One and I don't even think I played anything on it. So, no idea. Not a clue.
Very rarely do I trade in a console that's still of its current generation. Mm-hmm. I think that's probably all I can say. But I have to say, I ended up rebuying an Xbox One S, which I was delighted with because you did the same actually, and it was much more sleek, and it was the introduction, the gateway drug to Game Pass. But for me, Xbox One, I'm playing a wee bit of 4D chess, and I picked The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt because I thought I had to go third party on this one. And if it was expensive everything else, Titanfall and all that, I can just get to. I mean, nobody's picking Rise, Son of Rome, are they?
Rise, Son of Rome fans out there are cursing your name.
I know. I remember there was that initial FOMO in the Xbox One launch, and it did look really good, and I think it still does look good. And there's been times I've hovered over it in Game Pass, a game I've not played, but I'm just like, nah, it just looks a bit naff. But for me, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, I think is my pick. For you, you're abdicating your pick.
I mean, it's
get an Xbox One.
Yeah, that's me. It's I don't get to have it. I'll eat the Xbox One. That's me. That'll sustain me.
Christ alive, that's one way to use it. The next one though is I've arguably the hardest one here, which is the PlayStation 4. Now, I say hardest. I know we've got the same pick. I know we have, right? Which is Knack.
Yes.
No, I know we have the same pick here, but
right, go get your guess.
Bloodborne.
All right, okay. Well, let me tell you a story, Liam.
There we go.
So, we had a conversation a couple of minutes ago about a little game called Metal Gear Solid 4. No, I'm kidding. It's definitely fucking Bloodborne.
Oh,
Of course, it's Bloodborne.
You know,
I mean,
if you picked Metal Gear Solid 5 there, I was going to applaud you for the commitment to the bit.
now I'm thinking about it. It could well have been Metal Gear Solid 5 because I fucking love that game as well. But
that's 5 out of 5.
It's to snap Bloodborne out of existence. At least one of us has to. At least someone in the world has to still remember that Bloodborne exists, even if Sony will not encourage us to do that. So, yeah, Bloodborne is the one.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, if there's one game out of all the From Software catalogue, but just it's so special and unique. If anything, the fact that they're not making any more of it just only adds to the special nature of it all. But there's so many amazing games on there. I mean, we have just got rid of, Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, God of War, Spider-Man, the third-party games as well, Scott. You've just killed Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh, no. I mean, BioWare done that themselves, so it's okay.
Oh, dear.
This cat's got
They're not even angry. They're not even angry. They're just looking down at the floor like, he's right. He's right. Yeah. But yeah, there's so many amazing games in the PS4 catalogue, but we're walking away with Bloodborne. Now, another awkward one here, Scott, because I've left this one to after PS4 because it's so awkward. It's the Wii U. What game did you pick on the Wii U?
Yeah, Star Fox 2.
What game?
No, I didn't even played Star Fox 2. I kind of thought about this tactically because the Switch, I couldn't pick it for the Switch because there's 100 million better games than it, but I went for Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U. Excellent choice, actually, yeah. I'm trying to think. I know it's not got the bells and whistles that the Switch version does, but still a very serviceable game. Listen, at the time, man, there was no better Mario Kart game until Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but it's not about best game, but remember when the Wii U or when Mario Kart 8 came out and we had like the tournaments and stuff like that, and it was just so much fun. There was a buzz around that release, which you could only have in like, your early 20s. You could get away with, just having a piss up and playing Mario Kart all night, which was great fun. No, it was a stellar pick. For me, I've kind of cheated because I'm like, I'm going to pick a game where I can make my own games endlessly, and I've picked Super Mario Maker. I thought you would, to be honest with you, because I looked at it, but that's a fucking fine choice. It was. I remember making Mario Souls in that, and it was evil without it quite being Cat Mario. And I just used to love the social aspect to that game. People kind of giving you little upvotes and stuff, which is fantastic. And Super Mario Maker 2 was better in every way. Yeah. A game that I regret trading in now. I'm kind of tempted to rebuy it because my son's desperate to try it. I couldn't imagine what it would look like. It would just be an entire, every single space filled with blocks. That would be it. That would be it. But yeah, a fantastically fun game, and I'd be very happy if that was the only one that I had. Tough choice between that and Zombie U. Joking. Yes, in fact, yeah. The Wii U, man, it had a really good catalogue of games because they just re-released them all on the Switch, and we found out, it's decent. But yeah, just. So are we saying now that the Wii U walked so the Switch could run? Absolutely. When you look at it, it's effectively the same thing. Good. It's like the dock. I'm glad that people are now realising that the Wii U deserved all the love and praise that it didn't get. Yeah. So what? You're playing games on a big dinner plate. At least you could tell me another console that you could eat your dinner off of and play the game at the same time. I mean, you had that. My PlayStation 4 playing fucking God of War 2018. You could have cooked my dinner and eaten it off. That's true, actually. Christ almighty. Kratos is having an emotional moment and you're frying an egg. But yeah, we'll move on to the next one here. So next on our list is current gen. So we'll kick things off with the Series S and X. This one was pretty hard, to be honest with you, because of the dearth of games that I've played on the Xbox now. But then it hit me, Liam, is that there's two games that endless replayability and the time that would take me to complete, I could play them forever. Yeah. So for my Xbox Series X choice for this week, Cyberpunk 2077. No way, I've picked that as well. Excellent.
um, I'm so happy to hear those words come out of your mouth because we've converted you.
We've got him. It's phenomenal.
It really is, and testimony to it. We all remember the launch, right, which was horrendous. And I'm not doing that thing where it's like because I didn't experience it doesn't mean it wasn't happening. I was just very lucky. I bought Cyberpunk 2077. Still got it here in the house, the Xbox One version, but to play on the Series X. And we had just had the Series X. It was pretty much just out that year, I'm sure it was. And playing it on there, it ran smooth. It did everything it needed to, and you could finish the game with no issues. Now I know that was a complete shit show in the Xbox One, but at least in the Series X it ran well. And then over time they did do the next gen update and all the rest of it. And now it is like the ultimate game. Like if you will have something that you want to show off the power of those consoles, get that out. The game's so good that I bought it on the PS5 as well because I'm a daft bastard. But I thought, I wonder if it looks any different. It doesn't. I'm just like really high on Cyberpunk. But yeah, no, excellent pick for both of us, I would say. I thoroughly agree. But there's a lot of games there that's starting to creep up because I nearly picked Clair Obscur.
Yeah.
Like, it's got the sauce. But I didn't want the recency bias to come into things.
That's exactly why I didn't pick it as well. But no, it became very clear to me. You know, the minute I started thinking about it, like, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one for me. I'm fucking buzzing about my next pick, though.
Well, let's go in.
Truly buzzing about this.
PS5, Scott.
Think of all the fucking games that exist on PS5. Do you know what I mean? Like, all the games that I've played on PS5 and continue to play on PS5. But then, again, it was like, what is the game that I could pick that I could play forever? That I could have loads of fun playing, and that the choices that I make truly make that game what it is. And it crystallized like a beautiful, beautiful ice sculpture in front of me. The vision and picture of a hand through a stone came to me. And Gail reached in the other side and said, Scott, you need to pick fucking Baldur's Gate 3 for the PS5.
Ah, yes. Excellent choice.
You have to do it. It was so easy to pick it. I think that the PS5 has personally been bereft of the big hitters because most of them came out in the PS4 anyway. So it was like, if I'm not picking them for PS4, then what are the games that I'm going to pick for this? And it was so obvious. So obvious. It's Baldur's Gate 3.
A very good choice, though. Very good choice. I nearly picked that myself, but I thought I needed to get something in there just with a little. I felt like I needed to lean more on the exclusive angle for me in this one, because when I think PS5, what do I think of? That's the thing. It's personal taste, so I've picked God of War Ragnarok for me because I adore that game, and hence why I didn't pick God of War for PS4. I'm trying to have my cake and eat it here. You can see
it's funny. It's funny. Imagine you do that though. Like you play it for the first time, you're like, who the fuck's Atreus?
Who's this sweet
Who
geezer?
the fuck's this?
What about his dog? No. I know, dreadful. But I think, it's something that it's a very special game series. Adds more to the whole lore building that they're doing. Loved it. Fantastic. I'll be very happy with that. But I nearly picked Final Fantasy VII Remake, or Rebirth, sorry. Nearly picked that because I absolutely loved my time with that. Loved it. But God of War Ragnarok's one for me. I'm going to end things now, Scott, on the Switch. So you said you had trouble with this one.
I really did. I really did.
Solid.
Aye. The definitive collection's on Switch though, so I could have picked. I could have picked that and got 3 in there as well. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. I didn't even think about it. Nah, there's really only one game with the Switch that I've genuinely vibed with. Two games on the Switch that I've genuinely vibed with, and both of them are on the Pixel Picks list.
Mm-hmm.
Triangle Strategy, and my pick for this, which was Tears of the Kingdom.
Lovely.
A Zelda game, or 2 Zelda games on my list. Who'd have thought? Tears of the Kingdom is, the second best Zelda game behind Twilight Princess. So,
absolute bastard.
it definitely has to be there. Like it's generational in terms of what that game does. The kind of the only thing that I could say negative about Tears of the Kingdom is that it came out after Breath of the Wild, because I think if Tears of the Kingdom was first, it would be fucking astronomical. the way that we talk about it. Like Breath of the Wild gets spoken about in this fucking glorious light, but Tears of the Kingdom is an infinitely fucking better game. So yeah,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I don't really appreciate the whole like. It just feels like DLC for it. I'm like, well, you can say about any sequel, any game. I don't know. It feels lazy. For me, my pick will shock you, but I fully stand by it because all I was thinking about was the endless game, and I could have picked Tears of the Kingdom. I nearly did. Flirted with the idea of like a Super Mario Odyssey, even. But for me, my pick on the Switch, to wrap it all off, is Hades. So I thought, I've got to give some love to Hades in this list somewhere, man. If it's going to be just one console, one game, and I'd be very happy with that. But now we've outed everything here, right? So we've deleted all these other games in these existence. Out of all of them, Scott, and then the big Thanos turns up again and says, right, you can only pick one of them with that one game. What one is it going to be? Because it's a brutal choice. Brutal choice.
All right. Remember a few minutes ago when we were talking about the PS2? I think that if I was to pick one, it's probably not going to be anything else but Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
I think that's an easy win. If you're going to play a game over and over and over and over again, that's an easy win for that. Plus you get softcore porn in there as well, so that keep you busy.
That's very true.
Plus you can shag a bear in it. So
that's also true. Yeah. Well, for me, if it's only one that I could pick, it's not one where you could shag a bear, but it's one that I would be quite happily play to the end of time. And I'm taking the Game Boy and I'm taking Tetris. And I'm off in them hills. That's it.
Well, you'd be really good at stacking shit when you get there.
That's it. That's when it comes to like stacking like the back of a car or boot, I'm your man. Like it's like Tetris skills all the way. But yeah, no, I would take that. I'd be quite happy with it. And I would mourn all those excellent games that I've lost. But yeah, that's the one that's coming out on top for me. If it just ultimately is.
And then your batteries run out. Just like, no.
Oh man, Wilson. That's at me. Ultimately, my one console, one game, Game Boy Tetris, and for you, the PS5 and Baldur's Gate 3. But I enjoyed that. It was a bit of fun, a little bit of levity back in the show after last week. There's too much serious crap happening out there, so we thought, you know what, let's just shake things up a wee bit, and that's what the show's all about. But we're very good at picking things, Scott. And on that note, I think it is now time for us to move on. So it means that it's time for the Pixel Picks Showdown, where each week we each pick a game from our chosen theme and we decide which one deserves to live on in the hallowed Pixel Picks list, which is our definitive list of the best games we recommend to pass on to the next generation of gamers. Now, last week's theme was console launch game, with Wii Sports becoming the latest addition to the list.
Disgusting.
And in this week's showdown, we're debating what best story twist game we think should feature on the Pixel Picks list. As always, last week's winner goes last. I believe that's me, Scott. And let's get to it. So, right off the bat, this is a tricky one because when we're putting the list together, it's like, what can we pick and all that. Story twists feel like a good idea. Now that we're here, I don't necessarily want to ruin said twist unless it's something that's maybe like less than 10 years old.
Yeah,
I don't know. What's the barrier here?
I think just if you're coming into this twist things, then you have to accept the fact that spoilers are going to be there. None of my games are earlier. Well, one of the latest game on my list is from. Oh my god, I can't even spell it. It's from 2000 and. When did it come out? 2007.
All
so
right.
that's the latest game on my list.
We've picked the same game.
Whoa!
We've definitely.
Of course we did. Of course we did.
Well, tell me your honourable mention first, and I'm going to tell you mine for you.
So, honourable mentions for this week. Let me tell you about a game. Remember earlier on we were talking about games of the PS1 era?
Mm-hmm.
and the PS2 era and the PlayStation 3 were talking about a little series called Metal Gear Solid.
Yes.
Let me
Familiar
take you
with it.
back. Let me take you all the way back to the PlayStation 1 and all the way back to Shadow Moses, where you are mid-conversation with Master Miller, telling you loads of things, having a wee conversation with you on the codec, and all of a sudden, the Colonel comes in. It's like, Snake, it's not. And then the voice changes. You get to hear the dulcet tones of Liquid Snake. The sunglasses come off, the hair comes down, and that beautiful blonde man presents himself to you.
Yep.
He's been fucking taking you on a ride this whole time. It's phenomenal storytelling. It's great storytelling.
It is.
I love it. Even all the daft stuff with Meryl and stuff like that as well. Like the Colonel not telling you all about who she is, not telling you, not until you figure that out later on down the line that it's actually his daughter. Stuff about, Otacon, his dad, being responsible for the very first Metal Gear, the fact that he was the one that made it. It's just full of all these moments. And then, Liam, you've got Grey Fox as well in there, the cyborg ninja. And you have this history with him where he's talking to you about, hurt me more, big masochist over here. I'm telling you, it's a fucking masterpiece. It still hurts my soul that we had Alex in the podcast and he has never played it. It still hurts me to this day.
Still time.
There's people in the world who haven't played Metal Gear Solid because it feels like it should be necessary reading.
That'll change this summer.
See, instead of like having a holy Bible in every hotel room, they should just have a PlayStation 1 and a copy of Metal Gear Solid in the drawer. So, like, play it. There you go.
Yeah. Well, it would definitely be a lot less judgmental, that's for sure. I think Metal Gear Solid Delta will change that this summer. I think that's a really good, canonically, it's the best jumping on point. And if it does well, I can see them remaking that as well. But you're right, a great twist. One that I nearly picked for my own honourable mention, believe it or not. But I kind of, it's a bit of a cop-out because it's not necessarily some would argue it's not a story twist. But I think
story twist.
It's kind of, it depends. But for me, it was Metroid. I picked Metroid in this one. And it is the reveal at the very end that Samus is a woman.
And so woke gaming.
I love it. It's also, you've got me started now. Woke is a pejorative, man.
We've gone on too long, Liam.
Small Bobby energy. But anyway, it was really unheard of at the time. You take yourself back to the 80s and having a female lead is effectively unheard of unless they had like some very, very like overt kind of this is for girls type thing on it. But see, when she takes her helmet off at the very end just to reveal that she is a woman, and it's like, this is amazing. It's like an icon is born, and at that moment you've kind of got one of gaming's original first leading badass ladies. So I had to give a shout out to that. But let's move on to the pick, Scott. So what have you picked? I suspect it's the same thing. So would you kindly give us your pick?
Oh, there he goes. Just unearthed it for everyone. It has to be because this is it's the best, most impactful fucking heel turn in video games, and it's obviously BioShock.
Yeah,
it's unreal the way that it all works out and the way that it plays out right in front of you, and it's one of those twists where it tells you how it's done it, and then it shows you some of the instances that it's actually happening. The whole "would you kindly" stuff. And then you start to question everything. It's like the whole way through, how many times has this actually been said to me? And it's like, you obviously have the autonomy as a player to like choose not to.
Yep.
But then you can't move forward. So it's like, it puts you into this rock and a hard place moment. It's brilliant. It's so good. And, BioShock is one of those games that when it first came out, I never played it. I played it with the remasters when it came out, and it hits so hard. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely correct. I think my pick also is BioShock. It had to be, when you say story twist, it's the first thing that comes to mind for me, and I will never forget that summer, and playing it. I think I had bought it at launch BioShock, but I didn't actually finish it to the following year in 2008. I got like halfway through it, put it down, and then came back to it and restarted it, played the whole thing through, and I'm like, sitting there with the controller in hand, I'm like, you bastard. Like, they've absolutely done me. in the sense that it was right under my nose the whole time. And it was the fact that when it does kind of show you that this has been happening the full way through it, and it's almost the tension of Rapture completely gets you focusing on the other thing, so you don't even suspect it for a second. Anybody that says otherwise, I'm like, well, you need to get a job in the police, because we need a detective with your skills, because I did not see that coming whatsoever. It was just the ultimate twist, and I think video games, I don't know if we'll ever see a twist like that ever again. It has to be the best one with a story twist, without a shadow of a doubt.
It's never happened like that before, like a twist like that. So the fact that it's happened now, you automatically question it, like the reliability of the person that's taking you through, and the way it all plays out. It's unreal. Like, it's one of those games where every single year it's one that I'm always kind of considering going back to play, just to go back into Rapture, because it's phenomenal. But yeah,
we need it back. But well done, BioShock and Ken Levine, I suppose. You're the next entrant into the hallowed Pixel Picks list. So yeah, if you haven't played it, please go do so. Of course, that does bring us to the end of this week's podcast. So thank you once again for joining us. And remember to support small independent games media. So if you do like what you hear, you enjoy the podcast, please leave a 5-star review, and of course share on social media as well.
Leave a wee comment. Say hello. Yeah. Come on, fuck.
Tell us which one console and one game you were most offended by, and which one you picked instead.
Tell us why Super Mario Sunshine is the best Super Mario game, because I'm not going to hear anything else.
You will. I'll make it my mission. That's all you hear. But of course, in any way you can, share, leave a review, whatever you want to do. It does help us out, make a huge difference. And again, thanks to everybody that's joining us every week. It's amazing to see, and we do really appreciate that. Now, Scott, it's test time. So where can people engage with you online if they want to?
You can see it down there now. I'm pointing to it because we're on camera. So llamaman.bsky.social. That's where you can find me posting shite about Grand Theft Auto.
Plenty of shite that is. I'm going to go join him on that and see what he's talking about. So if you want to follow me online, you can, of course, at carmelite.bsky.social. Thank you to our producer and music man, the talented and handsome Mr. Sean Murray. So please go show him some love and check out his work on Instagram at barehandsdesigns and barehandsdesigns.com. You can listen to the next episode on all major podcast platforms such as Apple and Spotify, and of course follow us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social. And if you want to, write into us as well, just telling us why Super Mario Sunshine isn't the best Mario game in the series, at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. But until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and thanks for listening.
Justice for Super Mario Sunshine.